folks, and welcome to Great Chesterford Junction Model Railway. There haven't been any video updates for a while, since July actually, because we had the death of the most senior member of our family during August, and that was a very sad time, and no one was really very interested in hobbies and all that sort of thing. But anyway, we're moving on past that now, and yeah, back into the train room once again. The last update you would have had, apart from the signal box on Bamford, was about putting fascia on Bamford here and getting that moving, and then obviously moving into other parts of the railway. So the fascia is done now, so I can show you some pictures of that, some progress pics, and some actual video footage of it here in the room as well. So let's have a look at that now. So we start here from the very end of Bamford, and this fascia was added and painted with matte black paint to make it blend in with the rest of the railway, and that has continued on all the way up to the control panels and beyond, so that it looks right, I feel. We've even got a small section in here in between the control panels, and then I moved around to this side here. I've actually got the block instrument mounted properly, and then the fascias continued on around this side here to join up with fascia I had previously at this point here on Great Chesterford. This area here has been added because this is a removable section, and I still need to get access to hidden tracks well under and behind Bamford here, so that was quite necessary. That's got to be plastered over yet and developed. And while we're on the subject of that, we'll move around to this side, and you can see the white appearing here. We've got, I'll see if I can get a better shot of that actually. I'll get a better angle. Yes, I've developed a series of tunnel portals here, and I wanted to have 3 tunnel portals to deal with the destinations for the track. I mean, this double track one here leads around to the fiddle yard, the mainline fiddle yard. This one here leads to the area that we've called Duxford, and this one here on the closest to me here leads to the sliding fiddle yard, which is Newmarket. And when I actually put the track down many years ago, unfortunately I didn't sort of think about the clearances that I would need for these tracks to actually use a proprietary tunnel opening, and I'd left it kind of tight, and didn't sort of realise that until I came to the point where I wanted to put tunnels in here. So anyway, I've had to build my own. So these are all made from 5mm foam board. Foam board is like foam rubber sandwiched between 2 pieces of thin card, and it's very easy to cut. But what I found was that I could score in stone courses quite easily with a ballpoint pen that no longer has any ink, so that's very good for scoring. And then once it was all scored, I then went in and did the mortar lines with a white watercolour pencil. And then once that was done, I then gave each of these boards a light sanding to roughen the surface, and then the surface was coloured with pastels to sort of make it look a bit more like stone, and also a bit more weathered. So that's how the process was completed. And of course, talking about removable scenery, I wanted to have a hill on top of the tunnels here to create a scenic break between the lower levels here and Bamford. So I want to actually have all this tunnel covering. Once it's been plastered, it will be very densely populated with trees and foliage, and it will create this sort of scenic break. And then from the other side over at Bamford, it will just look like a hill. So I've taken the trouble to just about entirely hide the opening in the wall up here for Bamford, and once the trees are in place I think that'll be quite effective. Now you might notice that there's also a back scene up there, so we'll have a better look at that as well. So if we scroll around here, I mean, once upon a time, probably the last time that you saw this part of the railway, there was a little cottage about here behind there, so that's been covered over with trees. And that's the thing with my backgrounds, folks, I can just lay stuff over the top of them and change things if I want to. So that's gone. And then we move around up here, and you can see that there's a background that's starting up the very back of Bamford there in the corner. If we zoom in a bit we might be able to see it better. Now there'll be a hill in front of this background as well, so that roadway there up behind the signal box, that the part that you will see is where it narrows right there. So it will look, oops, we're banging the camera there, it will look better than what it does at the moment because there's still things to go in front of it. And then we've got a gap here behind the little terrace house that has to be filled in yet. Now once we get past that opening, which as I said still has to be filled in, what I've used here, folks, is there was a free background available in Railway Modeler some months ago, which is this section here, and that travels all the way up to the end of Bamford. So I cut the sky off on that particular background and then stuck the rest on, and I think it looks quite nice there actually. But where it actually ends is where this tree is. So I had some other backgrounds that I thought were close in colour and texture to that one. So I've added a piece of one of them in here, still more to go on. And to disguise the join, I've just put a tree over the top. So I think it looks quite effective. So that's what I've been up to, and of course it won't be long and we'll be doing scenery on Bamford itself. Another thing I've discovered, folks, is to do with cleaning wheels, but not just cleaning wheels. This would apply to cleaning armatures, the face of an armature, say out of a pancake motor, or contacts, or even rail. I've got onto a product called WD-40 Contact Cleaner, and it's terrific stuff, and I'll give you a bit of a demo on what it can do. Now this is the product I'm talking about, folks, WD-40 Contact Cleaner Fast Drying, and it's for use on electrical contacts. And if I read the back of the can here, it says it's excellent for cleaning oil, dirt, flux residue and condensation from sensitive electronics and electrical equipment. It rapidly penetrates into hard to reach areas and dries quickly without leaving any residue. This product can be used on electrical equipment, contacts, most plastics and rubbers, although I would be very careful around plastics, and that's why I use the method that I'm going to show you. So people use this to clean carbon brushes in electrical motors and so on. I think one of the guys on YouTube does that, and I've seen somebody else fill a little tank to go around cleaning track with a pad. So far I bought it to clean motors, but I thought this should work on wheels as well, so I'll show you what it does on a set of wheels. So we're going to use it on this old mainline collet, and the reason I've chosen this is because the wheels on the tender, I don't think they've ever been cleaned, and I've had this thing for a long time and it's done a lot of running. So that will give you a good example of how this stuff works. So we'll get set up, and what we have to do is this can has to be given a good shake first, and then I will spray some into a little container here, and then I will use a cotton bud to clean the wheels. Now when you spray this stuff into a container, it evaporates very quickly, so in order to avoid waste, just spray only what you need, and then you'll find after a while it's disappeared. So we'll get set up, and then we'll show you how it works. First of all, these are the wheels in question. I guess they don't look too bad. Yeah, but we'll see what comes off them. Right, now I've sprayed some of this stuff into my little yellow container here. Well, it's the lid off a jar actually. And I'm just going to rub it onto the wheel. And you can see I hope you can see how much is just coming off there. It's unbelievable actually. And you can actually look at a set of wheels and you think, oh yeah, they're all right, they're clean. And then you go over it with this stuff and they're actually filthy. Well, yeah, in my case anyway, I'm sure that there are some of you out there where your wheels are perfect. Well, mine aren't. So anyway, as I say, this hasn't been run, or it hasn't been cleaned actually, ever I think. So it's still coming off on the one wheel. So this will take a while to finish, I think. But anyway, you can see this wheel here is nice and shiny. This one doesn't look much worse, but if I do a bit on that, look at that. Yeah, so this is terrific, this stuff. It's available from Bunnings here in Australia, and it's about $17 a can, I think. So you know, only want to sort of use it sparingly, depending on your budget, I suppose. But it's good to find a product that actually is so good. Anyway, that's my little tip for you for this month. I'll probably do the logo as well while I've got this stuff here. Well, you might say to me, well, Gormo, you know, you could use methylated spirits to do that, and that's true, you could use methylated spirits, but I think it leaves a bit of a residue. I'm not 100% sure on that. But this stuff literally evaporates almost while you're watching it, so that's the good thing about it. Yeah, no residues or anything like that, and obviously wait till it's dry before you run anything. So I've used it on the backs of wheels as well to sort of get round to the little contacts making contact on the wheels as well. So yeah, it certainly makes a big difference to how a train will run. Now, speaking of running trains, I might show you some action near the tunnel here, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Here we go. So now I'll just show you how the lift-off scenery actually comes off and what we're left with below. So I won't be a minute. Right, well, the tunnel or the hill section here has to come off first. That just lifts off like that. I'll put that over there for the moment, if I can find the spot. Homemade tree. And this section here just simply lifts off. So now we'll have a look in there and you can see what I'm talking about. So I don't think I'm going to be able to leave the camera on the tripod, but you can see the space that's left there for access, which is pretty good. And I'll just take the camera off the tripod and I'll show you down inside the tunnels. Yeah, so here we are. So they've even stone inside up to a certain point, where only to the point where you can't see anymore. I think I've got it done well enough here to sort of deceive the eye. But yeah, this hill here is fixed. That'll stay as it is, and so yeah, I can hopefully get my arm down and under here to access these tracks. And if we go over to the other side here, just behind the block instrument, you can see over there. And I can get my arm over there, folks, so if something derails over there I can still get at it. There's nothing worse than sealing it all up and then, you know, Murphy's Law says there will be a derailment in there. So there you go. So that's all I've got for you at the moment. So take care everybody, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, Gourmet.